These are 30 simple Fortnite tips I wish I knew sooner. Tip 1. Actually warm up. Most people hop on the game and jump right into real matches, or at most they free build for a few minutes. But when you actually take a good 20 minutes and get fully warmed up in either a practice map or just free building, it makes a massive difference. Tip 2. Train yourself to adapt fast. Fortnite is forever changing, and the players who stay at the top are the ones who are open to changes and really embrace whatever's new. It's easy to fall into a pattern of only landing at the spots you are used to, only using the guns you are used to, but that's how you fall behind. The top players are spending time learning everything they can about whatever is new, and sometimes that leads to them learning overpowered strategies months before the average player. Tip 3. Focus on being good at simple moves rather than learning advanced ones. All you really need to be good at Fortnite are the basic mechanics. Know how to 90, the high wall, the cone over the head, side jumps, a few wall peeks. Doing just those few things at a high level where you don't choke and mess them up will win you most of your fights. Too many people want to learn how to quad edit a bunch of times in a row instead of learning basic moves that actually work. Tip 4. Familiarize yourself with the season's map. At the start of every new season, one of the biggest things that set apart good players is how fast they learn the map. Knowing which bosses are where and what they drop, where the loot is, where bots are, where natural heals are, all of this plays a big role in winning fights, and if you don't do this at the start of the season, it can take weeks or even months to learn the details, which is how you fall behind. Now, the best way to learn a new map is through a custom. If you have a creator code or know someone with a code, you can queue up and freely explore the map without other players. If you don't have that option available, you can just queue up into a normal match and then go back in replays and fly around and look at what's new. Tip 5. Practice with all of the possible items you'll have in game. This is a part of adapting fast. Fortnite changes the loot pool literally every few months, so you'll want to find a creative practice map that has the new loot and use the new guns every time you practice or play. If you're likely to have a certain item in a real game, pick it up and get used to the fire rate, the reload time, the pullout delay, and the sooner you do this, the more fights you'll win. Tip 6. Play with other people. Don't fall into the trap of locking yourself away in a solo practice map all day. Find people to grind with through either random matches, Discord, or even an app like Wiz. They're sponsoring this part of the video to get the word out that Wiz is an app to make friends in a safe space to build connections, including with other gamers. You can find people with similar interests and have a ton of new friends to team up with. I like that you can live chat with people from anywhere, and it's based on your age, so you'll be talking and gaming in a safer way because they verify your age. They have text moderation, a whole safety team. They really want to make sure everyone has a good time, and they've done a good job so far. So here's how it works. You download the app, set up your profile, and make it personalized to your style through music, words, and pictures. You can easily start conversations with people you think seem cool and swipe away those who don't. Hands down, my favorite part is that you find a ton of people just looking to game. It's probably one of the best ways to meet new teammates right now. The app is totally free. There's a ton of people on it, and you should be too. Check it out with the link in the top of my description or by searching Wiz on the App Store. Tip 7. Play with people better than you in creative. In your friend group, it's always good to have a couple players better than you. Constantly fighting them teaches you new strategies, and it naturally forces you to improve your weak spots. I only 1v1 players better than me, and yes, it's frustrating, but it can lock you in, and it makes it even more satisfying when you start winning. Tip 8. Get a decent setup. I'm putting emphasis on the decent because yes, setups are important, but you don't need the absolute best gear. What really matters is having something good enough. A $5,000 maxed out PC is great, but a $400 PS5 can be good enough. You might not be booga on it, but you'll be good enough to win hard fights, get to Unreal rank, and maybe even place in tournaments. And that goes for every piece of equipment at your setup, from your headphones to controller, keyboard, mouse, monitor, all of it. Tip 9. Be consistent. Don't practice for 3 days in a row and then not play for a week. If you want to improve, especially fast, you need to be practicing at least a few days days out of every single week. Tip 10, free build whenever you're bored. If you've ever been in a pro stream, you've probably seen them do this. By doing this, you can naturally learn new moves, get better at other moves, and the best part is you don't really have to be paying attention. At a certain point, free building becomes muscle memory, and you can be cranking while watching a video or stream at the same time. I'll make it easy for you too. This map is meant for free building when you're bored. It has music stations, chill backgrounds, auto build resets. It's literally what I do every single day. To find it, just search Carter 2K on the map tab and then favorite it so you don't lose it. Now, whenever you're bored, go to the favorites tab, load it up, and crank and improve. Tip 11, play with confidence. The best players are running around the map in the wide open, pushing other players and showing this sort of dominance that they obviously believe they are the best player in the lobby. That can be intimidating to other players and make them mess up in a fight. And the best part is that you don't even have to be good to do this. It's simply a mindset that you believe you can win any fight and aren't scared of fighting anyone. That feeling you get when someone full W keys you and applies pressure, you automatically assume they're good and maybe you get nervous and mess up an edge. Well, by simply shifting your mindset, you can do that same thing to others. Tip 12, W key. Playing into the last tip, W keying not only instills confidence in you, but it's also the fastest way to fight a lot of players. If in one game you play passive and get a 5-kill win, and then the next W key and get a 10-kill loss, the loss is actually helping you improve over 2 times faster. By doing this, you'll also notice that the less you care about winning, the more games you'll actually win. Tip 13, play against hard competition. Once you can W key pubs and win most of your fights, playing against harder competition is the only way to keep improving fast. This means playing a lot of ranked and playing tournaments when they're around. Just like you'll get comfortable fighting every player in pubs, the more ranked players you fight, the more comfortable you'll get at fighting good players. It's all about exposing yourself to it over and over, hundreds if not thousands of times. Tip 14, focus on your drop. Especially once you start getting to higher ranked lobbies in tournaments, your drop can determine your entire game. If you can outdrop everyone else and get a few quick elims, you have all the loot you need, you don't have to farm mats, and you're ready for more fights. Or if you have a bad drop, you either die right away or have to run away to some outskirts and then your loot is scuffed and your entire game can be ruined. To ensure a good drop, you might want to make a drop map, which is testing different drop points of pulling out your glider and marking it on your map. Every pro uses these for tournaments, and there's even people you can pay on Twitter to make them for you. Tip 15, actually watch pros. Watching pros doesn't mean barely paying attention to them and just being entertained. It means really trying to see and understand what they're doing. And it really helps if you watch someone on your same input, like clicks on keyboard and mouse and read on controller. You might learn a new move, maybe you recognize a pattern of a rotate, maybe you learn a subtle thing like the order they place their weapons. You can translate these things to your own game and they can help you improve a ton. Tip 16, stretch and move. It's never good to sit all day and just grind Fortnite, and one easy way to avoid that is by stretching throughout the day. This promotes good well-being as well as being a way to take a short break. A walk around your neighborhood or going to the gym is also a good way to break up the day, and when you come back, you'll be even more ready to play. Tip 17, use practice maps. Practice maps can get boring and repetitive if you overdo it, but playing them a couple times per week can be huge. It's the fastest way to dial in your mechanics and really master some of those basic piece control moves. I have a practice map with a built-in timer, the new guns, and it's mainly designed for console players. So if you're in need of a new practice map, definitely check that out. Tip 18, track your progress. When you're grinding to improve, it can be easy to feel like you're not getting better because you're seeing a small 1% improvement every single day. But when you can look back on old clips and read old goals, you'll realize that you actually have improved a lot. That's why it's always good to save clips to your gameplay and write down goals you want to achieve. Tip 19, play to your ping. It can be confusing for high ping players when every pro you watch is on hard 0 ping because they have a play style that is simply impossible for you to replicate. That's why learning to play to your ping is important. On 0 ping or anything under 10, yes, go and take every wall and play to that advantage. But on say 60 plus ping, you want to make a lot of boxes. You never want to rely on holding your walls or taking other players' walls. You want your playstyle to be more based on catching people off guard or utilizing exploits. It's still very possible to be good, it's just a little harder and less common to see. Tip 20, look at internet options. If you're serious about getting good, check out the internet options in your area. I played on 60 to 80 ping for nearly 5 years, and then they installed fiber internet in my city. In the minute I got it, I went to 20 ping. All of those years, I could have been 40 to 60 ping lower if my city simply had fiber. So you might not even know you could be getting a way lower ping unless you check your options. Tip 21, stop changing your settings. Some of you are obsessed about finding the perfect sensitivity when really you just need something close to what at least one pro uses and you find comfortable, and then never change it. Almost every pro you look at now will have nearly the same exact settings as they did 3 years ago, and they don't change it for a reason. One of their biggest advantages is having so much muscle memory built into that sense, and when they change it, that muscle memory is lost. Tip 22, follow Fortnite pioneers. People like Resub and Martaz always find and talk about these little tricks and exploits that, when all added together, can make a big difference in your fighting skills. Sometimes you might only have a week to use it because the trick is overpowered, but for that week, you can be dominating fights using the strategy. It happens all of the time, especially after big updates, and by following these guys, you can be among the first to know about them and learn them. And I'd say that Twitter is usually the first place that these strategies get posted. Tip 23, watch back your gameplay. I'm forced to do this because I edit my videos, but when watching your gameplay back, you notice so much that you didn't even think about in real time. Even watching back a simple fight, there can be something that seems so obvious, but you didn't recognize, like a move you should have done or where your opponent ran to. I record most of my gameplay and watch it back editing, but the easier way is by simply watching back your replays. That way you can even switch to your enemy's point of view. Tip 24, make a competition out of improving. Nothing motivates me more than a good challenge, and if you're a competitive person, that might be what you need too. Compete with a friend that's the same skill or better than you on whoever gets to Unreal first gets a prize, or if you beat them in a 1v1 by a certain date, you get to pick their name. Any competition can significantly boost how fast you improve. Tip 25, change your creative server. This can be annoying because low ping is always more fun, but if your goal is to improve in real games, then practicing on the ping you'll play on in-game is very important. If your creative ping is 20 and in-game you're on 50, the feel of everything will be very different, and there's certain things you can practice that you won't be able to translate to in-game. Switching your creative server to the second lowest MS fixes that. Tip 26, learn to run/disengage. You can't win every fight, but one way to ensure you don't lose is by disengaging. If you're down in a fight and you're going to be shambles soon, look for an out and take it, whether that's through fists, sneaking, a car, or simply running away. It doesn't always work, but you have a much better chance at getting away and regrouping compared to fighting a good player while shambles. Tip 27, don't be afraid of zones. So many players start to panic when the zone hits them, and that can cause them to make dumb decisions like jumping in a box or running straight out into a team. The best players are comfortable in zone. They know where the vending machines are, the cactus, the NPCs, and they know that you typically have 50 to 100 seconds to find white heals, which is fairly easy to do. Tip 28, don't constantly reload. Players do this all the time, and it can be in crucial moments too. In the middle of a fight, especially if you have dealt damage and they need to heal, the number one thing to do is apply pressure. Stopping pressure to reload when you still have multiple bullets in your mag is bad practice, and even though it's so simple, there are so many people that get in the habit of always reloading. Tip 29, play the game. When you put it into the simplest terms, the more time you play Fortnite, the better you'll be. Tip 30, stay patient and trust the process. Don't compare yourself in your journey to other players and how fast they got good, because there's 100 different variables at play. Just continue on your path and stay patient. It will come. If this video helped you, all I ask is that you use my map to free build and hang out it. Find it by searching Carter2K and favorite it so you don't lose it. I appreciate it a ton, and thanks so much for watching.